It's the best feeling in the world waking up every day knowing that you're a citizen of the United States of America. My purpose in life truly is just to help people.
Why are you a Republican?
What you call a real Republican. Donald Trump is not. He's a politician that uses the Republican Party just to get elected. And you could say I'm doing the same thing. 2016 Trump and 2025 Trump are completely different people. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican or hate both, I am the only candidate that actually wants to serve everybody. And I've done a lot of messed up things in my life, but every single day I try to wake up and I say, what can I do to do better? Because if the stars aligned and I was honored to be the next governor of Georgia, I would want every single person to remember that I gave them the time of day while campaigning, knowing they were not going to vote for me. The people of America are really good. They really do care. It's just the leaders that we have give us a bad reputation.
What was the lowest point in your life?
4 years ago, I was just in the deep thralls of alcohol addiction, mental health struggles. I didn't see where my life was going. I just didn't see a point in moving on. And I remember being in my apartment by myself. I was drunk. There was a bottle of Smirnoff vodka and I had a bottle of pills. And I was literally Googling how much should I take, but only suicide hotlines came up. So I just started taking pills while drinking and nobody was there. Didn't make any phone calls. Something stopped me. And I truly believe that was just God being, it's not your time. You got to stay here. You've got to help other people. You've got to get people through what you've been through.
What does Christianity mean to you?
Everything. I identify as an American who just happens to be gay. I'm not flying some rainbow flag. The only flag I need is the American flag.
So you would say the American dream that you described in the beginning is still alive?
That's something that got me through it. I've always been a fighter. I've never given up. I'm tougher because of it. I'm stronger because of it. And I'll never be a victim.
Before we jump right back into this episode, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast. It really means the world to my team and me. And there's only one tiny little thing you can do to support us, and that is subscribing. It is 100% free for you, but it helps us a lot. So please hit that subscribe button now. Just do it. I promise we give our best to come up with amazing meetings with Americans. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the interview. Meeting with Ken Yasger. Welcome to the show and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Ken, what would you say is the American dream?
Waking up every day knowing that we have the freedoms that we do, the freedom to live your life the way you'd like to, the way to have whatever beliefs you like to without being imprisoned, choosing just to live your life, knowing that the government cannot, responsibly, the government cannot infringe on those rights. Mm-hmm. It's the best feeling in the world waking up every day knowing that you're a citizen of the United States of America.
What's the life you chose to live?
So I'm in the military, 14 years. I was active duty for 4 years in the 1st Ranger Battalion down in Savannah, Georgia. Been in the Georgia Army National Guard for 10 years and still going. 3 deployments to Afghanistan, 2 with the Ranger Regiment, 1 with the Georgia Army National Guard, and I had a 4th deployment to the Middle East last year. But ever since I was 15 years old, I've been working in restaurants, and I currently serve and bartend at a restaurant down on Tybee Island. Meeting and talking to people across all around the world is literally the best thing that I could ever do. And I hear people's concerns, I hear people's joys, and it's one of the best things in the world, being able to just connect with people. And so I love what I do.
What else did working in restaurants teach you for life?
First off, patience, patience, empathy, just being able to communicate with people. But I've always been a very outgoing person ever since I was in school, so it just came naturally to me. Literally, the best part about it is meeting people from different backgrounds, different areas. It opens your mind up to a whole different world from what you were technically raised in. But my dad was in the Air Force for 24 years, so we moved all over the country anyways. Mm-hmm. So I've always had a vision of like different people and what they see and how they see things. And that's one thing I love about Savannah, Georgia is America is the melting pot of the world. Everybody's heard that. Mm-hmm. Well, Savannah's kind of the melting pot within the melting pot. And I think
and Savannah is where you live.
It's where I live, yes. Mm-hmm. And so personally, that's something I love about Savannah is it's politically left, Democrat, liberal, and I'm more to the right. But that's something that makes America the greatest country in the world, is I don't want to talk to somebody who agrees with everything I say all the time. I like having those differing opinions. A lot of people in politics don't want that. I think that is one thing that makes us great, because we can talk and discuss without fighting about it. And it makes either your views stronger or it challenges your beliefs.
And there are a lot of beautiful beaches too. And
I work on the beach, so yeah.
That's amazing. So was your dad, you said he was working for the Air Force?
He was active duty Air Force for 24 years.
Was he a role model?
My dad still is a role model. My mom and dad are why I am here today. They've saved my life more than just when I was a kid. They've saved my life throughout my entire life.
In what ways?
Yeah. I could have been homeless in my life. My dad has kept me from doing that. My parents have always been there emotionally if I needed. My mom texts me every day. I don't always text her back right away, but we still have a very close relationship. And my parents, the way they raised us, that's the biggest reason I have a lot of empathy for other people. My mom was
you and how many siblings?
So I have two, one older, one younger. Yes.
Brothers, sisters?
Both brothers. Yeah. One lives in Arizona. The other lives near my parents in Illinois.
Yeah. At what age did you decide to serve?
I served in the military.
Yes.
When I was 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
So September 11, 2001, I was 12. And I remember telling my dad, even though he's in the Air Force, we got home from school that day. And I remember it because my mom never let us watch TV until our homework was done. Well, she said, forget homework, sit down in front of the TV. You're watching history in the making right now. And she made us watch what was going on. But during the school day, my teacher wasn't showing us what was going on. Mr. Reyes, 7th grade science class, he wanted us to just continue the class he didn't want to alarm us. But I remember my mom came to my school for lunch that day. She was really involved in the PTA, the Parent Teacher Association, but there was no reason for her to be at school that day, but she just showed up. And she was just checking on me. I was like, all right, yeah, I love you too. And then she left and she went to both my brother's schools as well. Because there were threats on 9/11 that they were going to be targeting schools. And so my mom just wanted to go check on us. But we got home, and then at around dinner time is when I told my parents I want to join the Army one day.
Wow. And so it changed your life, the event of 9/11.
I have the Twin Towers tattooed on my arm. Yeah.
You have a lot of tattoos.
I do, yeah.
I
do, yeah. Yes, sir. All patriotic.
What's your most important tattoo?
I mean, I think they all just have this personal. They're all red, white, and blue. They're all patriotic, but I guess the one that's the most personal is the one right here. It's a American flag semicolon. It's a suicide prevention or awareness tattoo, because a semicolon goes where you could put a period, but instead you continue the sentence, and so it signifies you could have ended your life at one point. But you decided to keep your life going. So mental health is a big issue for me. And so I think that's probably the one that means the most.
Okay, let's dive into that a little bit. So what would you say, the lowest point in your life?
I've had several. I've hit my own personal rock bottom several times. But 4 years ago, I was just in the deep thralls of alcohol addiction, mental health struggles. I didn't see where my life was going. I'm very open about multiple DUIs. On my year sobriety post, I have 2 of my mug shots on my Instagram. I'm not trying to hide anything from anybody. I'm the only honest politician you'll ever meet in your life. And there's nothing I want to hide, because I'm trying to use my past to save other people. So if anything comes out of my campaign, if I could save one person's life, it'll make it worth it for me. Because no politician can ever say anything about me that I haven't already said about myself. So 4 years ago, I just didn't see a point in moving on. And I remember being in my apartment by myself. I was drunk. There was a bottle of Smirnoff vodka, and I had a bottle of pills. And I was literally Googling how much should I take, but only suicide hotlines came up. So I just started taking pills while drinking, and nobody was there. Didn't make any phone calls. But this is why I believe in God, because something stopped me
from taking more
from
pills?
taking more. And I went to the bathroom. I made myself get rid of what I'd already taken, and I'm here today. And everything didn't magically get better after that. I still struggled, but I've been to that low point before. And as a Christian, I'm not trying to live my life in order to get to heaven. And some people don't believe in heaven or hell, but whether you believe in heaven and hell or not, hell is eternal, and hell on earth sucks, and it feels eternal. And I've been to that place. And I am running my campaign, and I'm living my life and talking to people, trying to help them realize that that hell that you're feeling right now, if I can get through it, you can too. And you're worth moving on for.
But how did you get through from that lowest point?
Family, friends. I've always been a fighter, whether it's the military, my own life, and now my political career. I'm not going to give up. No matter how high the hill is or the mountain is, I'm going to keep climbing.
Do you think it's the people around you
Absolutely.
that matters most in life?
100%. You've got to surround yourself with people who bring you up, not bring you down. Now I do a really good job of making the best out of every situation, even through a lot of those low points. And some people can't do that, and I understand that. And that's why I try to be that smiling face for people, because I do truly believe a smile can save someone's life. Without even knowing it, you can walk by somebody, give them a smile, and they could be going home to do something that they can never take back. But that smile that you gave them, maybe is the only smile that they'll ever see that day, that week, that month.
Yep.
But you may have just saved their life. And that's kind of how I serve tables. When I'm talking to these customers that I have, somebody's being rude to me, I don't be rude back, because I don't know what they're going through. And
so it taught you a lot?
Maybe, absolutely. Maybe I could change their person, maybe I could change how their day is going with my attitude. And because a lot of people help me with a smile, and I want to do that for other people.
So what would you say is your purpose? And did it change after the event you just described?
Absolutely. I've always been, so it was even like that before that event happened, because I was always that person that I'd put a smile on for other people because I want to help other people. The problem is I wasn't helping myself, and you've really got to help yourself before you help everybody else. But now I just am using my past to continue what I've always been doing, and that's just trying to help people. So literally my purpose in life truly is to actually help people. That's why I'm running for office, because I genuinely love people. I don't have to get elected. Like somebody said, what are you going to do if you don't get elected? I'm going to continue what I'm doing. I'm in the military, I have benefits. I have a great job where I make good money and meet thousands of people every year. Politics is not, I'm not paying myself running for office. I can't loan my own campaign $10 million, nor would I, because you can change people's lives in just your everyday activities. But I'm running for office to try to save people on a bigger level. But my purpose in life truly is just to help people.
And one thing you say about yourself is that you are not a politician.
I'm not at all. No, I actually consider myself, if you have to say because I'm running for office, I'm a politician, I actually say I'm a statesman. So there's a difference. A politician is just there for themselves. A statesman's actually there for the people.
But you chose to run
Absolutely.
for office. So why did you do that?
Because I love people, and I'm tired of the polarization. I'm tired of these politicians on TV. Oh, absolutely. I'm tired of I don't know how it is in other countries, but I'm tired of these politicians on TV acting like they care, and they really don't. They're about their own pocketbooks. That's truly what they're about. There's no reason. One of the members of Congress from Minnesota, when she entered office in 2019, she had a net worth of negative $45,000. She's now worth over $30 million. People are starving in our country. Like in our state of Georgia, people are starving. The week that our lieutenant governor announced his campaign and loaned himself $10 million, 3 days after that, I was behind a gentleman in Kroger in Savannah, and his card declined buying a 6-pack of eggs. So I went and bought him a 12-pack, and we went our way. I wasn't campaigning. I didn't introduce myself as candidate for Governor Ken Yasger. I just felt really bad for the guy. And so I said, hey, hold on a second. I went and got him a 12-pack and just bought it for him, because people are hurting and they're struggling. And these politicians don't see us. They don't know what we're going through, but I see that person.
Would you consider Donald Trump a politician?
Yes, one of the worst. He doesn't care. He's all about his own personal gain. Like, I'm in the military, and I mean, I respect the office of the commander-in-chief, and that's something I will always serve and protect. But I've deployed 4 times, and I sort of uphold the Constitution, not some president's petty grievances. That's not what I serve for.
But you have to explain it to me because you are a Republican
Yes.
and he's a Republican too. And I know
Kind of.
there are only two parties in the US. So that's why I'm asking myself, why are you a Republican?
So I'm what you call a real Republican. Donald Trump is not. He's a politician that uses the Republican Party just to get elected. And you could say I'm doing the same thing because I tell people all the time, I'm an American in Republican clothing.
Mhm.
I'm a Republican, sure, to get on the ballot. And I'm not a Democrat. If my ideals align more with the Republican ideals than the Democrat ideals.
So what are your
But I want us
ideals?
to be American first.
Okay.
But I'm a pro-Constitution, fiscally conservative, states' rights Republican, what we're supposed to be. Anti-big federal government. I'm tired of the federal government putting I don't care if it's a Republican or Democrat in the White House. If I was governor of Georgia, I would be trying to keep them the heck out of my state. I am a states' rights constitutionalist. That's what Republicans were supposed to be. Fiscally conservative constitutionalists. That is not, this term, Donald Trump is doing everything against that.
Did it change in your opinion?
Oh, absolutely. 2016 Trump and 2025 Trump are completely different people. And I supported him up until 2020. I was big Trump, the MAGA hats, the Trump shirts, the Trump flags. I literally was wearing it, proudly voted for him in 2020, campaigned for him. And that's when it started to change. In this term, he's proven that he is just a big government politician that's in it for himself. He's using the presidency as a bully pulpit and just to settle his own petty grievances with certain people that he doesn't like. And that's Republicans or Democrats.
At what point did you realize that it changed or he changed or his policies?
And also, he didn't change all that much. He's always done this to Republicans, but I'll admit I was, you could say, drinking the Kool-Aid up until 2020 because a lot of Republicans, looking back, that he used to attack during his first term, Mitt Romney, John McCain, I'll admit when he attacked them back then, I was like, yeah, I don't like those guys. What are those guys doing? They're just trying to go against him. Now I look at it and I was like, okay, maybe they were right. They saw what was coming. And so he's always been doing this. I think I changed and woke up to it. He's just doing it more bluntly now, if that makes sense. He's being more blatant about what he's always been doing. It's just now my eyes are open to it. I'm an American first. I don't hate every Democrat. I think there are a lot of really bad Republicans out there that make people want to vote Democrat. And I'd rather us be Americans instead of Republicans or Democrats. And that's what I'm trying to focus on showing everybody is whether you're a Democrat or Republican or hate both, I am the only candidate that actually wants to serve everybody. When somebody at the restaurant I work at asks about my campaign, so I'm wearing one of the shirts or there's a yard sign up in the restaurant I work at, I don't even think to tell them I'm a Republican. I just start talking about my campaign and how much I care about people. I also don't ask them if they're Democrats or Republicans.
So the person matters more than the party?
Always. Oh, forget the parties. I wish we didn't have parties, but we do. It's not going away. But the person always matters more. Absolutely.
And what does it mean for you to be American?
It's the biggest honor in the world. It's the biggest privilege that you can have.
Why? I'm German.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah. We have more freedoms, I believe, than any other country does. Just that's my own personal opinion, and I am biased. I was born here. I have it tattooed all over my arms, but I just look at it, and it's the world looks to America for leadership, and that's a fact. Every country in the world needs us. We can't be isolationists, and I'm not one. The world needs us.
Do you think things are changing? Like China is gaining more power when it comes to world politics?
Oh, absolutely. I believe they are, and they're always going to be a threat.
Yeah.
But that's why America just needs to be that shining beacon on a hill for people. And that's why I disagree with a lot of policies that are going on right now, because I feel like we're not being the best us that we can be right now.
Do you think you guys have the best form of democracy in your country?
Oh, our checks and balances system is the greatest system in the world. It can't be broken. Our politicians make the checks and balances system look bad, but our checks and balances system is what keeps America alive. The three branches of government, the judicial system is literally keeping our politicians in check at all times. We wouldn't have a country if it wasn't for our judicial system. That's another reason I disagree with what's going on right now with the current administration, is his fight against the judicial system. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a country to this day, because of so much that's happened in our history. And we've never been perfect. We're never going to be perfect. But the way I look at the country is the way I look at my life. And I've done a lot of messed up things in my life. But every single day I try to wake up and I say, what can I do to do better? And I feel like that's what America's always done, to an extent, because we've always gotten through what we've been through. Slavery, the Civil War. People want to say that we're more divided now than we've ever been. I'm pretty sure we were pretty divided during the Civil War. We kind of broke apart then. We haven't broken apart now. And people talk about, are we going to have another Civil War or not? No, because the majority of us are in the middle and do care about each other more than your political party. Mm-hmm. And a civil war nowadays, it wouldn't be North versus South. It'd be through bedrooms. Yeah. But that's what makes us the greatest country in the world, to me, is we can all live this way and agree to disagree and still live peacefully together for the most part.
That's interesting, because you said you think the most of the people are in the middle, but the parties seem to be drifting away from
Absolutely.
Like further right, further left.
Absolutely. Joe Biden was one way, Donald Trump's another way, because the pendulum swings. It doesn't stop in the middle. I'm trying to cushion it in the middle, because the pendulum swinging farther to the left or farther to the right, depending on who's president, is not the answer. But literally the majority of Americans are in the middle, because, like I said, that gentleman whose card declined buying that 6-pack of eggs, I don't even know if he's ever voted before, because he doesn't care. He's too worried about trying to feed his family or himself. That's where most of Americans are. That's why most Americans don't vote in the primaries, because primaries don't matter to them. And then it's very rare that a state or election is over 70% voter turnout, because so many people just don't care, because these politicians don't give them a reason, because they're tired of the Republican-Democrat divide.
How do you want to give them a reason? How do you want to change that?
Because I want to show them that I will serve every single person, no matter what political party you belong to, no matter where you're from, who you are, what you are. I want them to know that I may have an R behind my name for Republican, but I want these Democrats to know in the state of Georgia that I represent them too. And I'm extremely against legislation that only represents one side or the other. If you can't get a single Democrat to sign on to a Republican bill, it's too partisan. And then if the Democrats aren't willing to sign on to it because it says Republican, I'll call them out too. I'm tired of the partisan game. And I don't, like I said, I've only raised $8,000 and I've donated 5,000 of it to nonprofits or charities.
Why did you do that?
So, because I'm trying to make a difference while running for office. Instead of these politicians that waste money on campaigns, I'm trying to make a difference while actually running.
But I guess you need money to actually have a chance.
You do. There's the argument for that. But at the same time, no politician's ever run a campaign like I have. And it's exposure like this that's going to help me.
Let's go back to your past.
Okay.
I want to know more about Afghanistan.
Okay.
How was it?
I'm infantry. We're front lines. Yeah. So it was war.
What did you experience there?
I don't really like talking about Afghanistan, but it's you go and just do whatever the mission you have to do. Yeah, whatever you're told to.
Do you think it was the right thing you did there, or the US did in Afghanistan?
Oh, absolutely. During my first deployment, I met this gentleman named Pops. He was a Afghan father. One of his sons worked with us on the camp that we were at. And the reason I'll never forget him is because he had 2 sons. One was caught by the Taliban because he was helping us, and they beheaded him. And Pops continued to work with us. And when we were talking to him one day, we asked why, and he said, because I believe in freedom and what the United States is doing, and I want to help. So yeah, I'm a very, very critical of the Trump administration and the Biden administration for how the war in Afghanistan ended, because I actually really did believe in that cause.
Did you think now that they ended it, it was worthless?
No.
What you did there?
No. The fire of freedom is always going to be in Afghanistan. There are a lot of good people. I met a lot of good people. After the withdrawal, through one of my friends who lives in California, who I went to college with, through one U.S. senator's office, we helped some Afghan interpreters get to the United States after the withdrawal through the temporary protective status program. Yeah, so
that's interesting, because like Germans have also been there.
Oh yeah, no, I met a lot of German. I have a German flag, like a shoulder flag, at my apartment, because we were you trade flags with soldiers from other countries.
Okay.
And so I met some Germans my first and second and third deployment. Yeah.
And what do you think about the gun laws here in America?
We don't need more gun laws. The gun laws we have are fine. The guns are going to be here. I'm not for restricting legal gun owners from their Second Amendment rights. That's not the issue. The gun's not the issue. It's our problem with mental health, and it's our lack of tackling that issue. That's the problem. And a lot of these politicians don't help that.
So the Second Amendment is fine?
Oh, the Second Amendment is set in stone. No questions asked. Absolutely.
And when it comes to mental health issues,
yes,
what do you think needs to change?
Society. The way we treat other people, the way we talk on TV, the way the media portrays everything. It's all doom and gloom. People get tired of turning on the news. We have to actually.
Do you also get tired on?
I don't watch the news. I go to Fox News and CNN every day online just to see the differing headlines, because it's so polarizing. It could literally be the same story, but you know what side each one's on.
Yeah.
Like Fox News is literally to the right and CNN is literally to the left, and they don't try to hide it. It's the same exact story with just their political twist. If I don't hear something come out of a politician's mouth like directly on a video, then I don't believe it. Just because you can cut and paste whatever you want from somebody saying to make it not what it was. And that's one issue that we have with the media.
Do you think a lot of people in America think like that?
That the media
don't trust the media anymore?
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah. A lot of people don't turn on the news. You never see any good news. You only see bad news. That's why I posted recently on my social media. I said it wasn't a campaign thing. I just posted, we all need some good news every now and then. And it was a post about one of our locals on Tybee Island. I got to work and I was talking to the couple, and her fiance said that day she was able to ring the cancer bell. She was cancer free. That's some good news.
Yeah.
That's something we need to put out there more. Those kind of stories. Give people something positive to look at every day. And I'm not defending people that go on gun shooting sprees or anything, but as a society, we need to help each other, and we can fix the problem if we just actually genuinely care about each other.
How do you think you can help people with mental health issues, as you yourself had to suffer?
Well, I feel like I do it every day already. But if I was elected, I could do it on a more widespread basis, being on TV regularly, going to some high school football game, going to some junior high volleyball game. Just show these kids that you care. Show them that you're willing to go out there and put yourself in their shoes and see how their lives are. See what they want and need, and to show them that there's some prominent figure out there that actually does care about them. And we have to help our teachers too, because a lot of those teachers, they're the parents and the teachers. They're not just teachers. They don't want to be the parents, but a lot of them have to.
And they don't earn a lot in this.
It's disgusting. I just met one teacher last week. She quit her job, her teaching job, even though she loved the kids. She only made $46,000 a year. That's not even a livable wage. That's disgusting. So we have to take care of our teachers.
Yeah, interesting. You said you've done a lot of messed up things in your life. What do you mean by that?
Just mostly alcohol, due to alcohol, drinking and driving, fights downtown. It's all mostly alcohol related.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by messed up. So lost a lot of friends over the years. But getting sober was the best thing I ever did in my life.
How did you make it? How did you get sober?
I went cold turkey. I just said I'm tired of it, put it down. And I would say I have an addictive personality. So I went from one addiction to another addiction, and I went to the gym and I lost 11.5% body fat in 7 months. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so fitness is a big part of my life too. And I want to I want to show that to other people as well. And I want to help them with that. Because I think your physical health is absolutely directly correlated with your mental health.
So if you want to, you can be very disciplined.
Oh, 100%. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's how I'm still sober today.
But how did you like slide into that alcohol addiction?
College. It's a disease that you can't necessarily control whether you get into it or not. It just depends on how your brain reacts to it. And I'm just somebody who, if I start drinking, I can't stop. And I've realized it about myself, because I should be almost 3 years sober, but my first year sober was 2023, and I relapsed at the end of the year because I thought, oh, I went 11 months. I can have a few drinks now and then. And I went out one night, had a couple drinks, and I was like, oh, see, I can do it. 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks later, I was back in my old wake up with a hangover. So time to start drinking again. And then I realized, wow, this is not something I need to do again. So I quit again. And then a few months later, I deployed and got back, and I just didn't want to.
Yeah. But what you describe, I guess, is a big problem in America.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Addiction is a huge problem, especially with alcohol.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's so easily accessible and widely accepted. And addiction and mental health are so stigmatized in America that people don't want to talk about it or get the help. And I think that's extremely sad, because most addicts aren't homeless on the side of the street with a needle in their arm. Most addicts are sitting across from you at the kitchen table or sitting next to you at work. You're walking by them on the street. They're serving you drinks or food at a bar or a restaurant. A lot of addicts they hide it and they don't want to talk about it. And then addiction leads to the mental health issues. And so alcohol is a very, very dangerous drug. We say drugs and alcohol. Alcohol is a drug, and it's like the worst drug out there because it's so accepted. Yeah. One thing I realized after I got sober was every song, every commercial, every show, they go out and drink. That's what they do. It's a part of our life. And now I'm not for banning it or anything. It's just we have to be conscious of it. But that's why with marijuana, I'm absolutely for legalizing marijuana. And somebody said, well, that could ask somebody who's an addict, don't you think that could be an addiction? Yeah, but I'm also not for banning things just because the government says it's bad for you. You just have to make adult decisions and be responsible. I was not responsible with alcohol, but it doesn't mean I want it banned and other people can't drink it. I just personally choose not to now.
And you said that America for you, that means freedom.
Absolutely. Freedom of choice, personal liberties. I don't want the government telling us what we can and can't do and what's bad for us or not, because that's a slippery slope. Once we let the government tell us one thing's bad for us, they're going to use that again, and they're going to do it for something else.
Yeah. I want to know a little bit more about your childhood. How did you grow up?
Lower middle class family. My dad was in the Air Force, but my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom for us three. So my dad worked 2 jobs. When he was active duty Air Force during the day, he delivered pizzas for Pizza Hut at night. My mom tried to have a job when we were younger, but it was just a lot with 3 kids. So he worked a lot extra hard so she could stay home with us and be a stay-at-home mom, which is a full-time job all in itself. When I was in elementary school, we lived on base and we still qualified for reduced lunches on base. So, but the thing is though, I think about that now and I'm like, yeah, we didn't have a lot of money. But the thing is, my parents, we always did stuff. You know, we were always out doing things. My dad would always take us somewhere on the weekends on his days off. My mom would always take us out during the day when he was at work. It's not like we grew up knowing that we didn't have any money. You know what I mean? We made the best of it.
And you moved a lot, you said.
Yeah, we moved all over with the Air Force. Ohio, Wisconsin, California, Texas. Then my dad retired in Illinois.
Wow. So you saw a lot. States in there.
Yeah, I mean, and not as much as some military people. We were lucky we didn't move all that much compared to a lot of military families. We never had to go overseas. They even canceled one of our moves, so we ended up not moving at one point and being able to stay longer where we were at.
What was the biggest lesson your parents taught
Discipline.
you? Discipline
And caring about others. Yeah, literally empathy. That's something my mom is really good at. She really does care about other people. And that's something she always pushed on me.
What do you think is the most important like topic if you were elected governor of Georgia?
So the biggest policy issue, I want to eliminate the state income tax to give Georgians more money on the front end, and then I want regulatory legalization of marijuana, so that more taxes from marijuana could make up for the loss of income tax. And then this year in Georgia, we got a $250 or $500 tax rebate at the end of the year. Well, with the current tax rate that we have, if somebody made a minimum of $49,000 a year, which is nothing, that's still over $2,500 in state income taxes taken out of their check throughout the year. I'd rather Americans have a couple $1,000s at the beginning of the year or throughout the year that they could spend on food, groceries for their family, instead of a little $250, $500 check at the end of the year just to appease us. I'm tired of the government taking your money because they say they know how to use it better. I trust Georgians to know how to use their money for themselves. So those are the two issues I would tackle first: is tell the legislature, find a way to eliminate the state income tax, and I want regulatory legalization of marijuana. And even the state income tax can't be done away right away with. Legalization of marijuana, tax that. You can start building up that tax money to make it easier to eliminate the state income tax in the long run.
Interesting.
Common sense solutions.
And you said that always a lot of Democrats would vote for you.
Americans would vote for me because Democrats are tired of their politicians, just like Republicans are tired of their politicians. I want to be an American for people to vote for. We live in a world full of extremism. And I'm not talking about Muslim extremists in the Middle East. I'm talking about political extremists in our own country. And Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are two of them. They are literally divide and conquer. It's like the funny example I make is left Twix, right Twix. I love Twix candy bar. That is one of my guilty pleasures. When Twix came out with that marketing campaign of left Twix and right Twix, I went and bought both of them because I thought they were different. I fell for it, I fell for it, bought them. They're the same thing. So then I just had 2 Twix candy bars. So I ate them all, but no, I fell for their marketing scheme. That is literally what Republican and Democrat politics are. It is left Twix, right Twix, but it's the same bullcrap that they're feeding us.
But do you think it's the politicians or the system?
The politicians. So our system is great. The checks and balances system is great.
And the party system?
The politicians make it look bad.
Yeah.
The party system wouldn't be as bad as it is if the politicians weren't so extreme. We haven't always been this extreme. My first election I voted in was John McCain and Barack Obama. I was an intern for John McCain's campaign in St. Louis, Missouri, where I lived. So my parents lived in Illinois, but they lived 15 minutes outside of St. Louis, Missouri. So they're on the state line.
Yeah.
I volunteered for John McCain's campaign. I remember having a McCain-Palin sign, T-shirt, all that. I was at the McCain headquarters putting yard signs together. Then we'd go and put them out. But I never hated Barack Obama. I didn't want him to be president. I campaigned for John McCain, but I didn't hate him. And I remember John McCain at town hall. Some woman stood up and she took the microphone and started asking a question. And she said, he scares me. Obama scares me. He's a Muslim. And she started saying something. And John McCain said, no, ma'am. Then he took the microphone and he said, ma'am, Barack Obama is a good man. We disagree on a lot of issues, but we both love the country. And that's what politics should be. And that was a Republican and Democrat. And then John McCain conceded that election and we moved on. And we weren't as polarized back then. So that's what I'm trying to get back to. So it's not necessarily the parties that is the issue, even though I wish we didn't have to have political parties, but it's the politicians within the parties that are making it look bad.
And how do you want to change that?
By telling people that I want to be united and by actually doing it, not just saying it like a lot of these politicians say. Like Donald Trump literally said when he was campaigning, I want to be a president for all Americans. Then he gets into office and says half the country hates the country because they voted Democrat. You can't, that's not uniting, that's polarizing. That's not what a president is supposed to do. And I'm pretty sure other countries do it as well with their politicians. It's just, but I see it in my country and that's something I want to change because I will go talk to anybody. The Fulton County Democratic Party could invite me to go speak to them. They can literally tell me beforehand, not a single person in this room is going to vote for you in the primaries or the general election. I will still drive all the way up to Atlanta from Savannah to go talk to them. Because if the stars aligned and I was honored to be the next governor of Georgia, I would want every single person to remember that I gave them the time of day while campaigning, knowing they were not going to vote for me. And I will give them the time of day when I'm governing. Because just because I'm a Republican doesn't mean that I don't think you're just as much of an American as I am, because you are. And the fact that we disagree is what makes us great.
So your dream would be to reunite.
The day I get elected is the day I never lose another election. Because the people are going to see that I actually do what I say, and I do genuinely care about everybody. I won't have to raise money for my reelection campaign because I'll be out there every day showing my face to people. People who have never seen a politician before in their lives are going to be seeing me in person, not on TV, in their towns.
Do you
Town
think
of
that's
300
important?
people. Absolutely.
Like go to the people where
Absolutely.
they are
Every single day. My Secret Service detail is going to hate me because we're going to be out everywhere, every day doing something, talking to people. They're going to leave me alone at one point. You're going to have Governor Ken Yasger come up to your door randomly just by himself because I want to talk and my security detail's tired.
But then there are all those people like...
Or I might put a rucksack on and make them walk with me from town to town, all right? We might just walk from town to town in Georgia.
The problem is everyone owns guns here in America.
They want to see the governor right now. But the thing is, though, a lot of Americans are good. And they're willing to help out. My first 2 walks across Georgia, I didn't, it's not like I'm handing out cards as I'm sitting outside of a gas station on my rucksack eating some food, you know? I had people come up to me and try to give me $2 or $3 thinking I was homeless. The people of America are really good. They really do care. It's just the leaders that we have give us a bad reputation.
So you would say the American dream that you described in the beginning is still alive?
The American dream is not dead. The American dream is alive. There's a reason why, whether you agree with the immigration policy or not, there's a reason why we're kicking people out. Because people aren't trying to leave. Very few, celebrities did leave after Trump was elected. But I always told people that wall that Donald Trump claimed he was building, which never got built, the wall's not to keep people in, it's to keep people out. Because everybody wants to be here. And I'm not against people coming here legally to live the American dream.
What do you think about the actual immigration policy?
Right now?
Yeah,
it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Joe Biden's lack of policy open borders was awful. But there's a balance between a lack of policy and letting everybody in and hunting people down in the Home Depot parking lot. It is disgusting. I was at work a couple months ago and I met some young man from Sweden. He was in his early 20s. He got a student visa under Trump's first administration. He got a work visa under Biden's administration. And he went to renew his work visa recently. They denied it because he's not an essential worker. And so he's being deported back to Sweden. By now, he should be deported back to Sweden by now. Because I think he had 3 weeks left. That's not anti-illegal immigration. That's anti-immigration and that's un-American. That's wrong. That's not what
because that's how this country became.
That's not what we're about. That's wrong. I am absolutely against that. We need to give people a shot. It's the federal government's fault that all these illegals are here. We need to give them a chance to become legal. Give them a grace period. If you're here legally, no crimes, no tickets, nothing, come forward. Let's start the process. Also, the process is practically impossible right now. We have to be compassionate, but we do also have to be stern. If you have any kind of convictions or any charges against you, you're deported. And if you don't come forward in that grace period, whatever that would be, that's your own fault. Then you get caught, you're deported. But this mass deportation policy it's disgusting.
What are you most worried about that's going on in this country?
Worried? I wouldn't use the word worried because we always get through it. I'm annoyed and angry about a lot of stuff that's going on. but I wouldn't say worried.
For example?
Because like Republicans and Democrats every election want to talk about democracy being on the ballot. If the other side wins, we're going to lose our democracy. Well, guess what? We're still here. And in 4 years from now, we're going to have another most consequential election of our lifetime. It's going to happen again. And they're going to use the same scare tactics to get us to vote for their side. You know what I mean? And so nothing makes me worried because we have our system isn't going anywhere. The American flag is going to outlive every politician that's alive today, just like it always has. The American flag survived everything. 2 world wars, the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812. I'm just going backwards. It survived everything.
So it will also survive Donald Trump.
And it's going to survive Donald Trump, and it's going to survive whoever the next Democrat is, or the next president is, or Republican or Democrat. The American flag is going to be there. Okay. The people are going to fight through it.
So you said worrying is the wrong word, but annoying. What is most annoying to you?
Immigration, the big beautiful bill, all of these issues, the Epstein list. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I don't think Donald Trump's on the Epstein list, but children were raped by adults. And then Donald Trump, after victims spoke in front of the White House, calling it a Democrat hoax. These women now, children then, them being sexually abused by adults is not a hoax. That actually happened. And no matter what you think about the Epstein list, he campaigned on that for 1.5 years to release it. That's his own damn fault. He's the one who said it. He is the one who said, we will release this because these people are on it. Now he's in office and he wants to demonize people for still talking about it. He literally called supporters of his who are still talking about it weaklings and said, quote, I don't want your support anymore. That was in a Truth Social post. Good. You lost it. I don't support you because he's wrong.
What do you think personally about the Epstein files?
Kids were raped.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, terrible, and sad. And sexual assault should never be politicized, and it should never be hung over anybody's head. And I don't know what, this could all be put to rest if the Department of Justice just released the files. And no, you wouldn't have to release the victims' names either. You can redact those names out of there. I don't know who's on that list, but just release them and we'll be over it in 2 weeks. But it's an issue that Donald Trump created, and now it's going to stay here because he created it. And he won't put it to rest. By releasing those files, it would just be put to rest, if that makes sense. So that's just my personal opinion. Just release it and it'll be over. Do I think he's on it? No, I don't.
It's interesting.
But I think some very powerful people are on it.
Yeah. And you, what I think is interesting, you disagree in so many points with Donald Trump. And you're a Republican. Are you worried about that? That you could like lose support from your party?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of Republicans, but here's the difference. Senator Tom Tillis from North Carolina voted against the big beautiful bill. President Trump said he was going to fund a primary candidate against Tom Tillis. So he decided he's not going to run for re-election. Thomas Massie, a U.S. congressman from Kentucky, said he voted against the big beautiful bill. Donald Trump said he's going to fund his primary opponent, and he said, come and get it. These Republicans are afraid of Trump because of his base support. He doesn't scare me. I don't have $1 million in the bank. I've spent most of my money on my campaign so far. Like I'm secure financially, but I'm not going to be going to buy $1 million house or anything anytime soon, nor do I ever want to. But his $1 billion and his bully pulpit doesn't scare me. Put me on a debate stage with a bunch of Republican politicians who suck up to him, and I'll just show the people of Georgia why your job as governor isn't to suck up to the federal government. It's to take care of the people of Georgia. And so whether it's this election or a different election, I'm going to be getting the votes of people who don't vote in the primaries, usually, because they haven't had a reason to. People are going to look at me and be like, that's somebody he's going to fight for us, just like he's fought for his own life, just like he's fought for the country, and just like he's fighting for in the campaign, he's going to fight for us. Because no matter how weak I've been in the past mentally, physically, because of my addiction and the situation I talked about, that's why I know that I will be the strongest fighter no matter what. Because I will be fighting for everybody, whether you have $1 million in the bank or whether you can't buy a 6-pack of eggs. I will be fighting extremely hard. And I'm not somebody who wants to get up to the top of the mountain and tell you, all right, this is how you do it. I want to get to the top of that freaking mountain, and then I want to go back down and then keep bringing you back up with me. Because I'm willing to put the work in for everybody, and I'll never stop working my entire life.
What would you do first day in office if you were president of the United States?
Oh, president of the, oh shoot. I've never,
yeah, you want to get to the top of the mountain. That's why I'm asking.
No, okay. I've never said I wanted to run for president. I want to run for governor of Georgia. And that's a big question. I've never even thought about that. I would just get on TV and just tell people that everything's going to be okay. I would, if I was elected president, I would invite Republicans, Democrats, independents, libertarians, not the rich people either. I wouldn't be inviting the union bosses. I'd be inviting local police officers, local teachers. I'd go to some bar down the road from the White House or from the Capitol and tell the staff, hey, come over to the inauguration party. Like I'd want to talk to real people every day and show them that the president of the United States really does care about those people. Screw the money. I don't want those millionaires at my party. I want the people at my party who are the ones who are usually serving the drinks and food. They're the one. I want the police officers who are walking the streets, not their chief. I don't want the teachers union leader at my party. I want the teachers in the classroom who are wiping snot off kids' nose every day at my party. I want real people there.
Okay, I know that on first day in office you would just throw a big inauguration party.
Well, that's what happens. The inauguration party. Yeah. I would give one big speech, letting people know that everything's going to be okay, and I'm there for all of them.
And that America is back, as Biden said, and Trump again.
They always say that. America's always back. I don't care. Donald Trump and Joe Biden, neither of them save or ruin America. Our military overseas is what's saving America. Those teachers in the classroom are what's saving America. No matter what Trump says about the DC police officers, they're saving America. It's the people on the ground that make America run. It's the bartender down the road where all these politicians are going to get drinks after work. They're the ones that are running the country, not those politicians. America survives because of the worker and the real people. We're the ones that run it. And that's something I'm running for, is I want to give those people power again. Donald Trump said he was giving us power. He didn't. No, that was a talking point for that billionaire. He just became a part of the deep state. That's all he is. He said he was going to drain the swamp, but he put his own people in the swamp.
You are openly gay also.
Yes.
Did it make your political career, were there any obstacles because of that?
No, not that I've seen. Most Republicans don't care. They don't care about your sexual orientation. It's the loudmouths that the media puts on TV that make Republicans seem homophobic. The Republican Party is really open. Like, most Republicans have actually opened their arms to the fact that I'm a gay Republican, because most Republicans like diversity because they just love the country. I mean, most Democrats do too. Don't get me wrong. I think they all do too. It's just the obstacle, the false belief and the false narrative that Republicans hate gay and lesbian people is just not true. The Republican National Committee has actually took traditional marriage out of their official platform last year during the 2024 election. So that's not even in there anymore. So it's a non-issue.
Amazing. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Because I felt like that's also a question I want to ask you as a politician, or you said you wouldn't consider yourself a politician, but you're openly gay. And yeah, if there are any issues, because I think a lot has changed in the last couple of years.
100%. I remember in 2007 when I was a senior in high school and graduating, I was still dating a girl. because there were no such things as gay Republicans back in 2007. I was planning on getting married to her one day and just living that closeted lifestyle, because I knew I wanted to be in politics, but there was no such thing as gay Republicans. And so I was literally going to live in the closet my entire life. In 2010, I changed my mind and came out of the closet in college, and I was enlisting in the military, and I was the first openly gay Ranger in 1st Ranger Battalion. But it's never been like a obstacle politically, because we have come a very long way. That's why a lot of these Democrats or liberals that want to say how hateful America is, or how we've gone so far back, I want to look at them and be like, no, we've come a really long way. You may think we've taken a couple steps back, but we have not gone back that far. We've come a very long way, and we have to appreciate how quick our country has come, how far our country has come so fast. It's amazing. And that's another reason why it just makes America so great, is we're able to change, adjust, and adapt that quickly. And that's why no matter who the president is, we change, we adapt, and we move on. And we're going to continue doing that.
And was it an issue in the military, being gay?
So actually, funny story is, I was actually a contracted ROTC cadet in college. So I was going to go into the Army as an officer. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't just the only reason. School just wasn't for me, but Don't Ask, Don't Tell wasn't repealed yet. Don't Ask, Don't Tell repealed in 2011. The Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy was put in place in the 90s, because in the 90s, you couldn't be in the military and be homosexual. So on your contract, it would ask, are you homosexual? And if you were, you couldn't join. And that's a contract you sign. And if you violate the contract, you get kicked out. So Don't Ask, Don't Tell just meant the military's not going to ask you, but you can't talk about it either. So I was still in the closet at the time. Well, in 2010, as I started college in 2007, 2010, I was a junior. Now, I didn't have junior credits because I was a bad college kid. Alcohol was bad for me in college too. So I did not have, but that being said, I came out of the closet in 2010, and somebody in ROTC with me reported me to our leadership, because even though it didn't ask you, are you homosexual, in the contract, it talked about, if you're homosexual, you won't talk about it, or blah, 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 blah. It was a clause that you had to initial when you signed the contract. So he gave me 2 options, and he said, you can either drop out of school and enlist in the Army, or for violating or breaching your contract, you'll be barred for joining the military indefinitely. Well, at that time, I didn't know if the Don't Ask, Don't Tell was going to repeal or not. So I said, yeah, I'm going to drop out of school and enlist. Well, I just told my parents I dropped out. I didn't talk about everything else. So I actually haven't told a lot of people, well, until now, that I was kind of kicked out of ROTC for being gay. So then Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed before I went to basic. When I was still waiting to go to basic training, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed. So then when I got to basic training, it was repealed by that time. So I was allowed to be openly gay in the military, but it's never been my identity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not what I identify as. I identify as an American who just happens to be gay. I'm not flying some rainbow flag. The only flag I need is the American flag. All these cities that are getting rid of their rainbow crosswalks and everybody's upset about it, I don't care. It's a crosswalk. Who cares? Like the crosswalk doesn't make you who you are, you know? So that's how I've always been. So I just didn't tell people in basic that I was gay, not because I was afraid, please. I just didn't want it to be my identity, you know? A lot of guys knew it already though. And it was like, my close friends knew. One of them was in Pennsylvania. He was the first one I told. Good dude. But, got to Ranger Regiment, and let's just say life was not easy. It was awful.
In the military?
My first duty station, the 1st Ranger Battalion in the Army. Yeah, it's a special operations unit. It was very hard, very difficult. I tried quitting at one point. My platoon sergeant wouldn't let me. He told me I was the first gay guy in his unit, so he was going to use it as a leadership challenge for himself. But then ultimately he couldn't do that. He asked me the next week if I wanted to quit still, and I drank my sorrows away by that point over the weekend. And I decided I didn't want to quit, so I stayed in. Best decision I've ever made. I was treated very, very terribly for a while. I didn't help myself either, but I was treated very terribly by a lot of the guys because I was openly gay. But
In what way?
physically, mentally, just verbally, it was just
Like bullying?
oh yeah, 100%. But that being said, a lot of the stuff, but that being said, a lot of the people who did do that or ignored me because of it, didn't want to do anything, have anything to do with me, we're good friends now. Most of my supporters are military friends of mine, past and present. So it's just everybody needed time to evolve on that issue. You know what I mean? I don't blame them for not accepting it right away because it was a new thing. Mm-hmm. And the Ranger Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment's an all male unit. So it's a very testosterone driven organization. It's the best unit in the United States Army. It's such a lethal force. So I will never play the victim. So looking back on everything, because I wasn't always treated the best, it's made me as strong as I am today. And that's another reason why 4 years ago, when I was going through the worst part of that's something that got me through it. I've always been a fighter. I've never given up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I'm tougher because of it. I'm stronger because of it. And I'll never be a victim. I'll never let myself be a victim. And I will try to help other people not feel like victims in their life.
Mm-hmm. But what contributed to that feeling back then, like 4 years ago, that you don't want to live anymore?
Everything. I didn't feel like I was going anywhere. Mm-hmm. I've tried being sober before and then just couldn't do it. Physically, mentally, I just wasn't feeling who I was. And there comes a point when you just, like, literally when you're living that hell on earth, there is no way to get out of it because it really is eternal. There's no way to leave that. And when you feel that way, it's awful. It's the worst feeling in the world.
And you said you felt that there was a God.
What's that?
You said that you felt that there was a God.
Yes, I am a Christian. Yeah. And that's how, when people ask me how I know God exists, that's what I tell them. Because nobody was with me. Honestly, nobody was there. I was by myself in my apartment. I lived by myself. I had a cat, but I didn't make a phone call and and nobody was there. But something stopped me. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that was just God being like, it's not your time. You got to stay here. Mm-hmm. You've got to help other people. You've got to get people through what you've been through.
What does Christianity mean to you?
Everything.
So you're a man of faith?
It's because of my faith that I'm alive today. Mm. Everything I do is I'm not trying to force religion on people, but there are a lot of Christians out there who just judge other people. And people who aren't Christian look at them and be like, oh, well, that's not very Christian of you. I want people to know who I am, see how I act, know I'm a Christian, and whether they believe or not, look at me and be like, I can see his faith in him. I can see his religion in him. I can see the Christianity in him. Whether they believe or not, I want to be that beacon of light for people. I'm not trying to push my religion. I'm a firm believer of separation of church and state. And there's a new thing in America called Christian nationalism that is unbiblical. The Bible is not supposed to run the country. It's not supposed to do that. My faith and my belief in Christ, Jesus Christ, and my belief in God it dictates my own morals and the way I live, on how I live my life. I don't want to force that on somebody else. But with my life and the positive energy I bring, I want to encourage other people to live that way as well. Mm-hmm. I want to encourage other people to live the Christian way, even if they're not Christian, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Too many Christians are making the religion look bad at this point. Mm-hmm. And I don't like that. It's not our job to judge. It's God's job to judge. It's our job to love everybody and to try to spread God's light in the world. And that's what I try to do.
Love everybody. What do you think about LGBTQ?
Everybody is human. Yeah. Now the transgender issue is a little weird for me, but
weird in what way?
It's a lot of people are calling it a mental illness. I don't believe it's a mental illness, but there's a lot of controversy going on with like biological men and women's sports. Mm-hmm. That I'm very against that. That should be banned. If I was to have a sex change and become a woman, I still physically am a man, biologically am a man, and I am stronger than most women. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some women out there who could probably beat my, but biologically, men are stronger than women. And so, no, I'm not for a man getting a sex change and then competing in women's sports. I think that's just over the top. So the LGBTQ movement has kind of been hijacked by stuff like that. But it's usually not even transgender people are out on the front lines talking about it. It's usually straight white people that are trying to advocate for other people. We don't need you. I don't need you advocating for me. I can be my own voice, but
the only flag you need is the American
the only
flag
I need is the American flag, because the American flag represents everybody. And that's why I want to make sure that everybody remembers that it represents everybody.
That's amazing. I guess your authenticity speaks to many people.
I try to. Yeah. It may not win me elections, but if I could change lives along the way, I'm going to. I'm not running for office just to win. I don't say things to win, and I'll never pander to one side or the other just to win an election. I'm going to speak to the majority and try to help those people. Even if I lose every election along the way, as long as I keep saving and changing lives along the way, it makes it worth it for me.
And why did you choose Savannah?
I was stationed there. I was Hunter Army Airfield is in Savannah, so I got lucky. I got stationed at a vacation spot. It's like living a vacation every day. Yeah. So I just got luck in the draw because of the Army.
And where are your brothers? Your two brothers?
So my older brother's in Arizona with his wife and 2 kids, and then my younger brother is back. He lives about 15, 20 minutes from my parents in a different city in Illinois.
Are they proud of you, the mission you're on right now?
Please, yeah. Like, they're my biggest supporters. And that's how I know that my parent, like, when people ask me, how can you promise that politics isn't going to change you? I'm like, because my mom would still beat my butt. Like, I'm 36 years old, 4 deployments to the Middle East, running for governor. If I talk back to my mom in person, she'll still pop me in the mouth. Please, yeah. If I tried to change, she would fly out here and she would make sure I never did anything ever again.
Amazing.
I'm very close to my family, with my parents, yeah.
What would you say if, like, every American would be listening to this? What was your message?
You matter. The flag represents all of us. Don't let these parties divide you. Don't listen to the politicians. The end is not here. We have a long way to go. All these politicians want to say it, but they don't live it. United we stand, divided we fall. But then they divide us every day on TV. I want every American to know that we are united. I want every American to know that no matter what you're going through, physically, financially, mentally, that you matter. I've been to that dark place. I know that there are a lot of people out there who wake up every day with a little bit of light, and very quickly that light is swallowed by the darkness that is the world. That darkness isn't politics. Most people in the country who are going through something, they don't give a crap who the president is because it doesn't make a difference in their life. They don't turn on the TV to see what the president is saying or what their congressman or senator is saying. They don't have time. They're struggling to stay alive. And I want that person to know that I see you. I want the guy who I was behind at Kroger, whose card declined, buying a 6-pack of eggs, to know that I see him. And I want people to know that if I was ever honored to be elected their governor, I may not meet you personally. I may not be able to make some astronomical change to your life just like that. But I would want them to know every single day that there was somebody in office, in the highest office in the state, that sees you, cares about you, and truly, truly does love you, because I've been there. And together we're going to get through it.
Wow, that's a powerful message. Kenneth, thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
We have that little closing tradition on our podcast, which is basically the last guest has left a question for you in that book. And you can leave, of course, also a question for our next guest. And the question for you is, if you had no fear, I guess you don't have any fear.
I know I do.
What is something you would do in life that the fear has been holding you back from?
Oh, I don't know. Skydiving.
Skydiving.
I would go
Very
skydiving. I'm definitely afraid of heights. I jumped out of airplanes 20 times in my life in the Ranger Regiment, but free fall skydiving is something I will never do because that scares the heck out of me. I'm afraid of heights. I would go skydiving.
That's an amazing.
Live life to the fullest.
Live life to the fullest.
Now that makes me want to go skydiving.
You should do that next. Thank you so much.
See, I just got chills thinking about it. I know that is something I'm actually really afraid of. Like my first airborne jump, active duty, when the doors opened and we were about to jump out, I remember having tears in my eyes because I thought my life was over. I'm deathly afraid of heights. And then I did it 19 more times. So,
I never did it. I'm afraid of.
Yeah, skydiving is something that's scary. Yeah,
we should do it. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Really appreciate talking to you, and I wish you all the best.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Amazing.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.